Hey, Katie, how's it going?
Hey, hey Jen, it's going well. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It is a very exciting day in the sim world. As we know, we're waiting for the official gameplay trailer to drop in less than half an hour. And oh my goodness, ambulance. Ooh, no fire truck. Okay. Oh, wow. Gotta love it. Okay.
I know.
And as I said earlier, we were talking a little bit before we started recording. I was talking to Nordville in the chat over at the Sims channel. And lot of excitement in the chat. People are just really excited about what this pack is going to offer. And some of them are a little guarded. I'm seeing a little bit of like, yeah, well, I hope it's not going to be buggy on release and all this. But I, for one, am very excited about this pack because, as I said in my previous video, I think this is the pack that Simmers have always wanted. And I think you concur with that. What's your
Yeah.
feelings on today's gameplay trailer? What are you expecting?
I'm excited to see it. I'm not sure what to expect. And I think that's one thing about me. I kind of go in not expecting anything in particular so that I can really get a true feeling about what I see. But based on the previous trailer, I'm just excited to see them expand on some of the things they introduced on the wheels and funerals. And the thing that really stood out to me, it was a lot, but the grief system where your
Yes.
sim is not super upset just because, they saw a random sim they never met just die at the diner, you know?
I know. That's like, you didn't even know him. Why are you crying over him or her or them, whoever they
And
are? You know,
depressed for days. I mean, in real life, if you saw that, you would maybe be upset. But to be
yeah.
like that long where you just don't want to do anything, don't want to function, I'm like, so I'm glad to see that. And I also like that they said that it won't just be for death, it will be for like divorce, if you lose a friendship,
Mhm.
because in real life you do grieve those things.
It's true. That's very true. And grief has different levels. I mean, there's some people can just process grief in a matter of months or maybe
Right.
less than a year and be fine. And there are others that years and years and years and years, and they never moved on. They've never been able to fully process it.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
it's all about how the person grieves. And I like that dynamic that they put into the game. So I think we're going to see different levels of processing grief, like you said before, and how that's going to affect the character overall. Like if two characters had a soulmate dynamic, for example,
Yeah,
and they were older, you may not see that character want another relationship.
that would
And
be cool.
right. Or let's say you had a character young and they lose a
Mhm.
mate. Well, what's going to be like if they remarry and how is that going to impact?
Yeah,
Things
I can't wait to see how they dive in. And I know they did say in the news blurb that came out after the first trailer that it would depend on your like sim traits too. So when you talked about different people handling grief differently, that looks like what they're doing. And the biggest thing I'm excited about seeing because I've been open that I'm not the biggest occult player. I do some spellcasters, but I don't do the rest of the occults. But this pack is like for everybody because if you love occults only, you could play that. If you like both, you can. But if you just like some, I don't even want to call it vanilla, but non-occult things, you could just enter and like try to become a funeral director. And I really like to see the life and death side of it, to see what family gameplay, because I'm a family game player too.
Me too. Me too. And that brings up another point I wanted to discuss today on the show, and I was holding back to discuss it until today. What are those careers going to be like? We already know there's going to be two branches of the careers that you're going to have the Reaper career and you're going to have the Undertaker career.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm hoping for, I think that the Undertaker career will be more than likely a rabbit hole because I don't think they could do that like get to work. I don't know how they would do that
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But the Reaper career, I have a feeling this is going to be structured kind of like a get to work career
Yeah.
where because if you saw the little teaser that was released maybe about 2 weeks ago
Uh-huh.
on Sims Twitter,
I
it
saw it.
shows them, you saw them, they're at the Grim Reaper's house or,
Yeah, I
location.
think it's a world, Jen, because I think it's gonna be set up more like Spellcaster, the
Realm of
Spellcaster
Magic.
pack, where in Spellcasters you go to Glimmerbrook to practice and get your skills up. I think it's gonna be set up more like that because they did announce that I think they said it was gonna be a world, or we saw it in the first trailer where they were going through some kind of portal or something like that.
Yes,
We'll see.
yes. And also going to different locations to reap souls. So I wonder how this career is going to play out. And I'm
Yeah,
very curious about that. I
I
think that
think I
go
hope
ahead.
I'm sorry, I hope
No,
both
no, no.
of them I hope both careers have at least a work from home option so that you can do different things because with the Reaper side of the career, I could see them easily doing a work from home or something like that. But then you're right, something would have to be triggered where you would be sure to encounter Sims that pass away so that you can make those decisions as you get higher up the track. But I think for the funeral director side, I think you could easily do like a work from home. Maybe you help people plan wheels. I have no idea. I can't wait to
That would
see
be
it.
great. That would be great. If it meant like you would work with some Sims designing their wills. That's kind of interesting take. I would like to see that too.
That would be nice. But ultimately, I think I'm gonna be pretty happy with whatever I see. Cause
Me
I
too.
was so excited. I know you were, cause I listened to your reaction. You're
I
like,
lost it.
"Ah."
My inner New
I
York
love it.
came out full force. I was just like, "Yes." And then I was like, oh my god, I should cut that. But then
No,
I was like, no, 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 I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in.
it's
It's
authentic.
right. It's authentic, and so what? The New York came out.
Yeah,
It's okay.
hey, I joke with you. I tell you it's no different. It's a New York loud, then it's a Southern loud, and I'm Southern loud.
I've heard the Southern loud a few times in my life. I know what you're talking. I was at this party years ago. It was
Mhm,
down in Virginia, and it was some friends of my friends. They were married. Her husband was in the Air Force. She was also in the Air Force, and they had a friend of theirs, neighbor, who had just retired from the Navy. He was a captain 20 years. Long story short, we went there. It was a surprise party, and I
uh-huh.
just heard this eruption, like, "Whee!" I was like, "What?" And just great time, great music,
Yeah.
great food. First time I had crawdads in my life. It was
Oh, really? Yeah,
fantastic,
love them.
fantastic. I loved it, and that was just Virginia. I mean, and then I went down to Alabama for a conference, and I just wonderful people down there, right along the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. Had a wonderful time. It was business related,
yeah.
but it was like a vacation. It was
Yeah,
so great.
absolutely, the Gulf definitely is.
And just friendly, upfront, and I'll tell you, when you guys party, you guys party.
It's true. It's very
Everybody
true.
has a good time down there.
It is very true. But yeah, I think overall, Jim, I'm just excited because I really liked what I saw in the trailer. Oh, I saw this thing like a sim was like pouring one out for the homies. And so I
Yeah,
liked the diversity in it as far as, they had somebody lighting candles at the funeral. But
yes,
I like that they are setting the funerals up as an event and that you can, I think it said you could do 14 interactions, like just like at the weddings when you or dates, when you decide what goals you want to have to get, it's gonna be like that. And they've got 14 interactions you can choose from to celebrate life at funerals. So I can't wait to see
yes.
more of that.
Yes, I love the way the funerals are being set up. The different types of funerals you can have, and you can really customize it to what type of story that you're going to tell.
Yeah. And
And
I've already got some churches built, so I just need to
oh,
like
yeah,
pop some caskets and some
I
altars
saw,
in.
yes, yes.
I'm
And
ready.
those bills are great. They came out so well. They felt warm and comforting.
Thank you. So
Very
I'm getting
welcome.
ready to add the funeral elements in and oh, the bill buy mode that we could see in the first trailer. The stuff was really elaborate, like the
Yes.
decorations, like in the room where I guess I don't know if her father or grandfather was passing away during his transition. I'm looking up at like the dressers and the curtains, and I'm like, ooh, look at the detail on
Ye
those things.
Yes, the Build Buy is absolutely phenomenal in this pack. I cannot wait to see more Build Buy. I think that overall they've covered all the bases. They've got gameplay covered, they got Build Buy covered, they got lore covered for, lore enthusiasts,
Yeah,
especially that little throwback to The Sims 2 with the whole Specter and Nervous Subject. That
yeah. You
whole
talked about
mysterious.
that.
Yeah, yeah, and, for people that have played The Sims since day one, like you and I, you know,
Yeah,
it's like, wow, what a tribute
yeah,
to that lore and to bring it back and incorporate it in some way. Because
yeah,
sometimes you have people that don't want to spend time creating Sims and making their own families. But I think it's
right,
half and half. There are people that like to play with the existing characters, and there are
right.
people that like to create their own characters.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
And so
I've
it
been
be
always
something
a
for
creator.
everybody. Yeah, you're a
Yes,
creator. I'm a creator. I'm a creator for sure, but definitely I don't mind my people that I create, getting married and having babies with Sims that are already in the game,
yes.
especially a long-term game player. So, you get 3, 4, 5 generations down and you get these random Sims that the original Sims had, and it
Yeah,
gets good.
that's what I did. I had one of my Sims marry Lucas,
Mhm.
and that family spread out.
Yeah,
And I'm a legacy player like you, and
yeah,
I am trying to get to the alphabet um, generation, which is 26 generations of
yeah.
the same line, which is tough. It's tough. And I'm around 2021 right now in my
Yeah.
game.
Okay, you're
I,
close.
I would have had more, but my game crashed a couple of times way back in the day, and I did not save it.
Yeah, we all learn those like heartless. It's like I back
Hmm.
mine up in 2 spots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I wasn't using OneDrive back then, and I was, because I was kinda like, "Yeah, no, I can do my own backup, it's fine, I don't need to." I wasn't quite sold on OneDrive yet back in the
Yeah.
day, or the iCloud for that matter. And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start using that." And good thing I did because a couple of times that the computers have crashed, um, I was like, "Oh, no." And then I checked my backup, I'd be like, "Whew, good," you know? So, important note, everybody, save your
Back up and
game.
save.
Save your game. I save usually weekly, I would say. Weekly or bi-weekly if I can get away with that,
Yeah. I
depending on what the
learned the
workload
same
is.
lesson, and mine, it wasn't a Sims issue, it was a computer, same thing, it crashed, burned, I had to get a new one, and thank goodness, like, that time I didn't have them backed up. After that, when it happens again, I have my files.
But these allergies is like, "Ugh,
Yeah,
okay."
it like, where I'm at is, like, this morning, it was, like, 37, then it'll be 70 by the time I leave work. So, those 40-degree temperature in the day fluctuations that we have this time of year is horrible.
At last night, it was 42 degrees overnight,
Yeah.
and I woke up freezing. I was like, "Oh my god." And now it's starting to warm up, so it's about 49 degrees right now, and
Yeah.
expected to go up to 55, 60 by the afternoon.
And see, I could deal with that fluctuation, but the 37 to 70, oh, that's a big jump. I don't know why
Yeah,
weather is like this down here.
it's like this up here too. I mean, it was weird. We had a nice stretch of warm weather that was just
Mhm.
perfect. It was great. I finally got to the beach for the first time all summer. It was wonderful. But then it was just like bam, switch. And I'm like, what did this happen? But honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I like the change of the seasons. I'm happy that it's fall. I love looking out my window, seeing the leaves change. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, it's I'm ready for it. I'm like, okay, goodbye, summer. Had a nice
Me
time.
too.
Thank you.
Me
It's
too.
brutal with the humidity. Well, God knows I'll cut this up into a million shorts, and we'll have a lot of different things. That'll be fun. But let's also talk about we're talking about lore and how they've incorporated it into this pack, especially because I think in previous packs we didn't see much incorporation of lore from the previous sim games. We saw a
Mm.
little, but not too much. Like we saw Agnes Crumplebottom come back. We saw
We did. Tartosa is really good with lore if you go search for the messages in a bottle and you
yes,
read them. Then you will find out about Bonehilda. You will find out,
mm,
yeah, you will find
didn't
out
know
that,
that.
yeah, you'll find out that Bonehilda and what's the angry ghost lady? I'm losing her name right now.
Oh,
Uh,
if it, the
she
Wraith,
always,
the Night
huh?
Wraith.
No, she's like the red ghost. She always shows up in the paranormal pack. But you find out that they are sisters and that they love the
Oh,
same man, but Hilda won the guy. And so all of that
oh
is
wow.
in a bottle. So yeah, but it's not a lot. But when they do, you have to really dig into playing the game to find it. It doesn't just appear.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I didn't realize that. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up.
Yeah, so
Y-
if you're watching and you've not, like, go get the messages in a bottle and read the messages. You'll find out about a lot of the old Sim characters and some that they brought back.
Next time I send a sim to Tartos, I'm going to do that. I'm going to send it to the beach and have them look that up. So, what did you go to the beach and you beachcomb or?
Yeah, I had a sim. I've got all of my sims that you see me play are what I play. I only have one off-camera family. I think we're in generation 13. But one gen, I did a tiny house on that beachfront lot on Tartosa, and it
Mhm.
was fun, 4 to 6 bottles every couple of days. And I would
Oh,
have him go out and his wife and go pick those bottles and read those messages. Yeah.
oh wow! I got to try that. I forgot. Wow, I didn't know that. That see, you learn that's the great thing about this game. Sometimes you can be playing for years and years and years and think you know almost everything there is about the game. There is to
Yeah.
know, and then you find something out that you never knew before, and
Yeah.
it's like, wow, that had that. They had that. But if you don't
Yeah.
play like in a certain way, you're not going to discover these little nuances that are there in the game. And
Yeah.
that's what makes The Sims unique, that it can cater to every type of personality that plays the game and every type of player that wants to involve themselves in different challenges or different kinds.
Right.
Maybe you're just a builder and you just want to build. Maybe you want to just be creative sim and create pretty sims and whatnot, or
Yeah,
terrible sims and whatnot.
Temperance, that's the ghost name. It just
Okay. Okay.
Temperance. Yeah, her and Bonhilda are sisters, and yeah, so it's good. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Jen. I watch people and they'll be like, "Oh, The Sims is boring. It's nothing to do." But
Hmm.
what I find is that a new pack comes out, and a lot of people will get the pack, and they'll rush through to try to play like all the gameplay to see everything there is to see within,
Right.
whatever, a day, a week. 2 weeks.
Oh
But
yeah.
like when I get a new pack, I just incorporate it in a story and let it go normally. And you find so many more things. And I still will never figure out like everything there is. I'll see other people on YouTube like, hey, did you know you could do this if you click this thing? Or you had the sim reading an excerpt from her book. I just didn't
Yeah.
know that because if you didn't do that specific thing, you won't know it.
That's exactly right. There's certain careers I've never played with. Like, I think I played with the criminal career once years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
but that was it. That was
Yeah.
it. And then when I saw you playing Stolen Love,
Yeah.
when you had your Stolen Love series, which, by the way, phenomenal series, go
Thank
check it
you.
out. You're very welcome. I didn't realize you could do all these different things. Like, you could have a whole hacker career.
Yeah, and it was stuff I didn't even get to. Like I know where my sim was, he could sabotage a hot tub at that point. He could do
That's
a lot of things that I didn't even get to like in the series. And I really like I hope this pack has a lot of cross pack play because like with that one, I was using the for rent to do have him nosy, have him breaking in, and compound with the criminal career.
the criminal who cares.
Yes. He was a criminal who cares.
He'll steal from you, but he'll make you some
He
lunch.
he'll make you rich before he leaves.
That was such a great series. I
Outlandish.
it was so much fun. That was the criminal just cracked me up. That was great. But again, it brings up the fact that, if you don't know about these careers and you don't take the time to discover this and you just stick with like a couple, like for
Yeah,
me, I have I do admit I have like the core careers that I usually stick with when it comes to
yeah.
my Sims. I have a whole legacy.
Oh,
Oh,
we're in? Oh, 2 minutes, okay.
mess. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger. All right, there we go. I love
A
these
lot.
countdown screens.
I do too.
Ooh, let
I
me bring down the
noticed
volume a little
before the
bit.
sim was just kinda talking to everybody while the wait was going on your screen.
Let me
It's
just bring
very
that down.
creative.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it sounds
They're so
good.
they they're so creative with these screens. Every
Yeah.
time they come out with a new one, I'm like, wow, that's really great.
And those are the bookcases I was talking about. Like, I was looking at the decoration, like, at the bottom of them. That's
Hmm.
really nice. And the old school, like, heavy desk. And
Yes.
that chair is crazy.
That chair, yeah, that is a true throne right there. And I love the fact you have the crows in the game too, but I also wonder if there are other birds aside from a crow. Like, let's say maybe a parrot
Maybe.
or a
I It's
cockatoo.
no telling. It is no telling, but I am excited to see what else it has. I'm excited about the cross pack play. And you were talking about careers. One thing I do is keep a list of the careers. And if I get a new pack, I add that career and I cross out so that I won't put the sim in the same career
That's a
until
good
I've
idea.
gotten some more done. Yeah.
That
Just
is a
so I
really
can find what does what.
yes. That is a really good way to play. Sometimes I admit I don't do that. I'll just be like, okay, this one is a this, and I think I'm going to make their child a this as well, whatever it is they're into.
Oh, we're
And
here.
and then I found myself legacy playing that.
Hundreds of
Let's go.
thousands
Yeah.
of
Ooh,
Sims
fun.
die on any given day.
Oh,
The common misconception
Ah,
is that I'm the one to blame. No, the truth
was that
is
a
that
ghost
old
cow
age,
plant?
I and
I
anger
love the
claim
fact that
more
the
lives than
deathing
any
bed,
other
that is
form
so
of death.
great.
I'm just the Reaper.
The world. Oh my
Mine is a
gosh.
humble profession,
The world is
but it
beautiful. Love
started
it.
with, well, life. I have
I
many
like
grim
this.
turns who join me
I
in
do
this
too.
beautiful career, helping to carry souls to the other side as they advance
That was
to
the portal.
rebirth. And we have a very
Yeah.
high percentage rate of hitting our weekly quotas.
Oh,
Those who live a life chased by death
Mm.
certainly improve our odds. You all know.
Oh,
But hey, you have to admit
oh.
these Sims
That
seize
whoa.
every
That
moment.
was
So
kind of
the
dark.
chase by death trait actually makes you more likely to have an
The
incident.
number of young adults
Wow.
that don't consider what they ultimately want to accomplish with their life is staggering. Taking ownership of your
My
life's
favorite one in
journey
that
can have
too.
many benefits, after all.
A
Your
little one step
wants,
worse than the
traits,
casket.
aspirations,
Yeah.
these contribute to a life. Take it from me,
I like
The
this
ghost.
though, Soul's
not
Journey.
enough.
That's
A bucket list, however, is a scientifically proven
Yeah,
method of ensuring
I
you
love this
find
bucket
fulfillment.
list thing.
You can always
yes.
scrap the list, start over, or do more.
Oh, that's good.
Just start. Better to do today what you could have done tomorrow. You never know
Wow.
when the cold touch of death will find you.
Now she's hungry now.
In fact, I'd seriously consider getting a will drawn up if I were you.
Yeah.
7 out
Oh,
of 10
wow.
souls regret not having one after they've died.
Just like you said.
Get your affairs in order.
That's cool.
It may
I
be your
hated you all.
last chance to tell those you leave behind how you truly
I
feel.
love it.
Did you know the earliest grave markers are almost as old as
And I
me?
love the new graves.
I'm
The new
This is
fascinated by the
nice.
many
tombstones.
ways
The,
you living
yeah.
souls memorialize
That's
your
cool.
dead. If I had lips, I'd be smiling.
Oh,
I
that's
like the
nice.
altar
Sorry, I've been
looking
told I lack a
memorial
certain
altar.
connection with mortality.
Crow in
I
my
have an
back.
affinity for
Oh,
those
nervous
whose
subject.
defining trait is the macabre.
Yeah.
But there are also skeptics among you.
Looking
I
just like
get
his
it.
old
I'll do
self.
better.
Yeah.
TLDR,
Oh,
point is, you
Death by
died.
crow.
Now what?
a murder
At the
of
time
Murder
of
by
death,
crows.
crow.
The
most
irony.
souls think it's
Right.
game over. No, no, no.
The scream, it
There's a whole
haunts
state
me.
of life waiting beyond the veil.
Cool.
Hey, I
That
get
is
it. It's a lot.
awesome.
That
I'm a lot.
option,
This whole thing, it's
So the
just,
game
it's a
doesn't
lot.
end
You can
anymore.
choose to move
It's
on,
I
great.
love it. That's
but
cool.
there are also
Yeah.
resources to help you cope. And
Hey,
even if
you
you
know I'm
finished
for the
your bucket
anonymous
list,
meeting,
you
Jen.
might find
Yes.
you have
The
new
support group.
desires
You
to
That
know
is
I'm all
great.
for that.
and new powers to help you complete your
Well, it makes sense.
unfinished
Ghosts trying
business.
to navigate their new life.
You can use your
Yeah, you
powers
need
for
a
good
support
to make
system.
life a little easier for others, or ride the line of neutrality
Oh,
and keep the status quo.
oh,
Ah.
On the other
cool.
hand, maybe you want to get a little nasty. Oh, no judgments here, literally. I
Oh,
have no morality.
That's funny.
Ah, wonderful.
I've
Dimitri
got to
completed his
play that.
unfinished business.
That's going to be great.
I
That
respect
burning
the soul
soul is what can
finishing
let you
what
be
started.
reborn.
Now Dimitri's ghostly powers won't get burnt out. And should he choose to be reborn, he'll basically, I don't know, be better than he was the first time around.
So he can go
Yeah,
into the lake to
rebirth.
do that.
It's a real hot button issue back at the
Wow.
office. Simply
I
put,
button
I
it
love
issue.
is possible to bring pieces of yourself
You can
into
pick which
your next life.
household to be
Things
reborn
like
into.
childhood
Oh
skills,
my
reborn
God. That's
traits.
wonderful.
You can start fresh at any age.
Oh my gosh.
Even change your appearance. Come back as your own great-grandchild.
You can
Or
pick
join
the
your
age
rich
too.
neighbor's household.
Join the rich neighbor. Oh,
I'm
I
not
love
able
it.
to do it myself, so I can't endorse it. But a whole new
Oh
aspect of life is
man.
available to those who return to the living. So
See,
don't fear death.
now you
Just
can try for a baby with the
Oh.
Grand
what's
Reaper
next.
without cheese.
Bye.
I
By
mean, you can
December
do it now
12th
as a science
to
baby,
get the
but
Macabre
Right.
Mementos digital content.
before that, it was cheese only.
You won't regret
Right.
it.
And now,
Yeah.
this is great.
Let me tell
Okay.
you, I'm in. I've been
I'm
sold, but
totally
I'm
in too.
in. No,
I'm
look, I
totally in
already
too.
pre-ordered, but hey, I'm in.
Me too. I think that, the thing we have to take into consideration is how is this pack going to launch? How
Yeah,
is this right? They need to make sure that they cover the bases. They need to make sure that it launches pretty much fluidly. I mean, if it has some bugs and glitches,
yeah, it's
small,
normal,
right?
but not.
Game breaking,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
problem then.
Game breaking, no, no. that would be a major disappointment. People would be up in arms. It would be disaster. It would be like my
Yeah.
wedding disaster.
I saw several things, but oh, something that really stuck out was the being reborn. We knew that you could do that, but the fact that you can pick
On
which
Memento's
household you
digital
want to be
content.
reborn into. And you can pick which life stage. So you could be an infant or you could be an adult or elder, I think. Like that is crazy. The fact that you can pick where you want to be reborn into, the gameplay that opens up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you could do a whole family legacy where, you know, the
Yeah.
kid, oh, that child reminds me of my grandfather or my grandmother or
Yeah. I already
yeah,
know that I'm moving an elder into a house with the younger sim, and when they die, they're gonna be reborn back into that. Like that is crazy.
this opens up a whole new section of gameplay that has never been done before. And I think that is what was lacking in The Sims for a couple of years,
Hmm.
is that I felt like a lot of the packs were regurgitated
Yeah.
with
Cause
some new features, but for the most part, it was like we were getting university again. We were getting generations, but it was split up amongst three packs.
yeah,
And
right.
there wasn't enough uniqueness to the packs when they would release. We
Yeah.
saw, my wedding stories came out. Weddings, great, but it took a while before they got it pretty much right. This last update corrected that. But this
Right.
is something unique. This is something
It
that
is.
has really never been done in The Sims before
True.
in all four
Right.
iterations. And you can really explore death. You can explore the different facets of death from being an Undertaker or a Reaper. You could set up a will to protect your assets for
Yeah.
your family or not at all. If you want to donate it all to charity,
The
really
I
make
hate you
everyone mad.
will, that was crazy.
The I hate well, yeah. Let's put that up on the screen. I think that was right about.
And so I do want to talk about, like, I can't wait to see if they release another blurb about this or if they just let the video stand by itself. But I do know in the first blurb there are all these new festivals that are coming with this world. And one of the festivals, I think of Life, that's where you can go to get a wheel made, or you could do it on the computer. You know, they have more than one way, but you definitely could go to the festival, and that's what we saw the lady doing. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, it's so much. The ghost doing the me interactions and pretty much robbing the guy.
Yes. Yes. I love that ghosts have more things to do because right now, the way ghosts are in the game, they are pretty much boring. They don't do much. They break things.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
then
and,
they tear up the house. Yeah, they do that. Now my ghost has gotten pregnant before, and it shocked me because I didn't know.
oh, you had a ghost baby.
We had a live human baby with the ghost. I had to hurry up and try to get the ghost ambrosia so that the baby wouldn't and get the ghost in the household so the baby wouldn't disappear.
Oh my God.
But like the fact that I love when they did the game over screen because oh my gosh, I've had that before and I'm sure you have too, but you're just like, I created this one sim, I had all these plans, and then it's like, no.
Hmm.
But the fact that no, you get a new pop-up and it asks you like, do you want to keep going as a playable ghost? I thought that was great.
I like that too because now it shows you that you have a whole new other level of gameplay that hasn't existed before. And you can really explore that and have a great time and create chaos and mayhem and whatever else comes to mind. Or maybe you want to be the kind of
Whatever.
ghost that is thoughtful and sincere and wants to watch over their family.
Yeah.
Or maybe you
And
want to be the.
then
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say when that pop-up just showed, and the other option was to become a free roaming ghost. So the ghost just kind of roams around the world, and you're not responsible for it. So
Yes.
yeah, And like you were saying, or you can help. Like I have these families that have so many babies, they can come change some diapers and feed some babies.
Yes. Yes. Like honestly, I think if this had been around when I have two Sims that I were some of my favorites who died, unfortunately, recently. I'm not saying who they are, but they're not Nina and Amanda. I will say that.
No spoiler.
Yeah. But and it's not in any of the gameplay that I have.
Okay, I
There's
got you.
my own private game that I play. And I wish this thing had been around before they died because I was thinking, oh man, if I had this, there could have been a whole new level of gameplay I had for them. And
Yeah,
this is going to open that up a lot.
yeah,
This is really going to let people, even careers for ghosts now. I mean,
yeah.
you can send a ghost to work if it's in your household. If you
You
invite the ghost,
can.
they're actually an active member of your household and a playable member. So you can do whatever you want with the ghost, even though they still break
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah, and
But-
and where we right now on the trailer, this whole rebirth thing where you can like you come back with some skills already and traits already
I love that.
because you were alive before. So you carry over. And I think it depends on how much living you done, like how much of your bucket list you completed, like how
Mhm.
old you were, but you can come back with even more skills and traits. So you can come
Life.
back as an infant and not start from scratch. I love it.
Well, I believe that totally about life. I mean, that traits, environment, when it all filters down to the next generation.
Yeah,
My cousin has a beautiful singing voice, and
yeah,
I know that that comes from my grandfather on my
yeah,
mother's side
absolutely.
because he was a professional singer in the 50s, and my cousin now has that ability.
Yeah.
And I know it for myself from, how I love the voice acting and how I love to write. That's true of my other cousin's daughter, who is an actress in LA.
Right.
And also a screenwriter. So I know that these traits are inherent from my grandfather
Mhm.
and also my grandmother, who is very creative in her own right. You know, so you have these traits that are passed down from the sim that passed, and now the sim is reborn with these traits as a different person,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
unique. And maybe even memories of the past life, like some people say they claim to have.
Oh, that would be great, right? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, this is you were talking about how like this pack is unique and it has so much in it. And one thing I'm big about, like if you ask me my favorite packs, what they have in common is they've got visual gameplay and yeah, build by world, the standard stuff, right? But they also have behind the scene things that make your game richer. Like they make your Sims act out more or display personality more. And I think that this
Yes.
pack is going to give us that. I mean, the fact that you can be reborn and pass down traits, and it seems like just live a fuller life, do more life and death planning. That is
Yes.
going to impact the grief. We talked about the grief system. That's going to impact how your Sims interact with each other and their worlds. And I like it. I'm here for it.
Me too. Me too. Well, you know that I'm a gameplay junkie like you.
Yeah.
And I'm totally in for the gameplay. And the more gameplay there is, the happier I am.
Me
And it's not to say that I don't like the build by. I love the build by. I
Yeah.
like the cast. I'm not so much big on the cast though. But when it comes
Yeah.
to gameplay, yes.
Yeah.
100% yes. And this is really giving people who have complained there's not enough gameplay, give us more, what I like to dub as the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
They're giving us the meat and potatoes in this. It seems
Yeah.
like the gameplay is very rich, but all
Yeah.
because we see it in the trailer. How is that going to translate to in-game? I'm going to play
Yeah.
devil's advocate
Yeah.
for a second. Because we've seen the trailers make the gameplay look amazing,
Uh-huh.
and they make the game look incredible to the point where I gotta have that right now. But the, The thing is that when you get it and you start to see it in action,
Yeah.
you know, what we've seen in the marketing isn't always translated to what we're seeing in game.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
but the thing that I do like that they do, and I think that this is a credit to them, is they do the developer deep dive with the gameplay, showing you what it's like in action so you can make that decision prior to buying.
Yeah.
If you're on the fence about pre-ordering, if you're on the fence about getting the pack entirely, you can
Right.
see how the gameplay is going to react.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, like they come out with the packs have to deliver. And so that's just a given, but and they have had ups and downs with it, but overall,
Hmm.
I feel like they've been on what I consider a winning streak.
Yes, I
And
agree.
I'm famous for telling, like, y'all know, I do not get all the packs. For one, some of them just aren't for my type of gameplay. But we have to respect that that's for somebody. Maybe not for me, but it's for somebody. But I was on a street gen, especially with expansion packs. Like I was
Me
not
too.
like I have been knocking off the expansion pack, like every one of them, maybe since like Grow Together. I have
Oh
been
yeah,
on top of getting the packs, Horse Ranch, like Love Struck. To me,
me
they
too.
were all good. And I know that it's a lot of controversy in any community, but to me, they were all on point. Some of them had some bugs, but they came out very quickly to do patches to fix them.
Yes,
And I've had great gameplay. I disabled mods for a while, and I had great gameplay, and I still do with them. And I think that would give me enough, which I said I already pre-ordered, but that would give me enough to be like, yeah, I'm in on this pack. It's something that I like, and I think as far as what you were talking about, this is complex gameplay to be
it
able to
is.
be reborn, like to do bucket list, and the new aspirations even seem a little more in depth, like the ghost
Yes,
historian. So I think
yes,
you have to really put work in, and I'm sure they've been working on this pack for a while, and I'm willing
yes.
to step out there with them and buy it and get it and do it.
I cannot wait for this pack either. I'm really excited about it. The only thing that I'm worried about is when it comes out and all the other packs are involved,
Yeah.
how is it going to react to that? How is it
Yeah.
going to meld with that? Because when we see the gameplay deep dive, we're seeing just the base game and the pack. We're not seeing any other packs.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. And sometimes we catch there's a bug here and there that
Mhm.
happens. And it's like, okay, well, this is on the deep dive. What's it going to be like with the other packs involved?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, sometimes the errors happen because people do not take mods out. They leave the mods in. The mods
Yeah.
react. They're broken. They cause issues. The game gets corrupted. There's a lot of variables to discuss there. But
Absolutely.
overall, I think that what you said, the Sims team is on a winning streak lately when it comes to the proactiveness of getting these bugs and glitches underway.
Yeah.
They've been very transparent about communication. I also love the fact they're doing the Reaper rewards, which
The Reaper
is
Rewards has been so fun.
it's giving us something to do between the announcement of the pack to the launch. And normally we've had like this whole lull period where it's like we're going to come out with this pack. Here's a trailer. Here's a trailer. Here's a trailer, and nothing in between.
Right. And it
And
was the perfect lead up to this pack.
it
And
was
also leading up to Halloween for those of us who celebrate it. It leads up to that, and it leads up to this pack that has kind of like the Grim Reaper in the center of it as far as like an icon to star in the pack. But
right.
I've enjoyed it. A lot of complaints about it, but it's been fun for me. It's pivoted, like I had an idea in my I Come in Peace series, and it pivoted it because I was like, I gotta do this Reaper rewards. Like I
Yes.
gotta get it done. I
Yes.
gotta get like a little bit obsessed with completing it.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I wasn't going to do it at all as a video. Not at all. I played week 1 offline and I was like, yeah, okay, it's easy. It's not too bad. And then I played week 2 and I was like, wow, this is getting more intricate.
Yeah.
And then I decided I was going to play week 3 on camera. And I'm so glad I did because week 3 was very involved. And
Yeah.
even if you have a sim that's quote unquote a super sim, high
Yeah.
skill sim, it was still difficult. It
Yeah.
still presented challenge.
Yeah. Your video
And
was really good.
thank you. Thank you. And I saw with I was talking about Nard Villain earlier. I was talking with him on chat, and his video that came out on the Reaper Awards is hysterical.
I've been watching his.
With his character Velma, absolutely.
Yes.
And
He switched to Velma to see how hard the last week would be, and boy.
mhm. And also I've been watching Fox. I love her. I think she's hysterical as well. And she's just like, what the getting furious over this thing. But
Yeah.
it's something that brings us together as community because we can make these videos and then we can discuss these videos
You're
amongst each
right.
other because I dropped mine and I said, I just dropped mine. What do you guys think? And they were like, oh my God, that was so funny. I had this problem. I'm like, yeah, I know I had this problem. And you're encouraging a dialogue amongst the community and creators alike that makes it something unique to the community.
Yeah.
We all bond over it and it brings us together in a way that we haven't done before. I mean, they had the happy at home event, but it was kind of like,
Yeah, it was different. Like you
It-
said, like I was watching Nardville and I was watching Merle Sims too, and his sim almost died twice in one video trying to complete the last week of the Rivers Challenge. And
that's
I was
crazy.
so
Yeah.
tickled.
that it's it yeah, I mean that's the challenge. These things
Yeah.
can happen if you undertake it. And that's what a challenge
Oh,
should be. It should have a lot of difficulty for you. It shouldn't be something you could just blow right through. And
absolutely.
this week it took me 40 minutes. The week before it
Yeah.
took me 20 minutes. But
Yeah.
it was still difficult.
It's good and it's got some time consumption, it's good gameplay. And that reminds me, they show more in this trailer about it was a trait, Chased by Death, I think it was called.
I
I
think we
thought
have it
that
right here.
yeah, and I mean, I guess the proof is in the name, right? But I guess I just didn't think that it seemed like the world was trying to kill the sim to get to,
Well,
yeah, because
sometimes it feels like the world is against you in some days.
so I guess it makes you more prone to different sim devs. So yeah, I was like, this is cool. And then yeah, that new trait, all these new traits, the skeptic, macabre, and then their chase
Yes.
by death trait was really interesting. So
Yes.
I can't wait to see what that's like. Like, I cannot wait to give my sim, and maybe I'll give that to Ember for my lives, the Chase by Death trade, and
There you
see what
go.
happens. She likes to
There
live
you
on
go.
the edge anyway.
She does like to live dangerously, I've noticed. Yes.
So yeah, like I can't wait. This is gonna be a pack that you could be playing for a year, 2 years, and you won't see everything there is to see. You'll do
Exactly.
something and something new will happen, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it could do that. I can
Exactly.
tell. The
And
Souls,
that
oh, go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say the Souls Journey bucket list. So I know they said you could like erase the list and start over, but another thing that was on the news blurb was that if you decide not to set your bucket list, goals yourself, as you play the game, it will set them for you based on your sim. So that's interesting to me too.
And the ability to start over. So it's not just these set goals that you have to follow. You can
Yeah,
say, you know, I don't want to do that. I want to start it over.
yeah,
Because in
yeah,
real life, you may do that. I'll be
absolutely.
honest. When I was in my 30s, I was like, one day I'm going to jump out of a plane. 20 years later, I'm like, Never gonna do
Nah.
that. No way in hell. So it's like, that item did change on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I
That
live
and
vicariously
that's
through my nephew,
normal.
though. He did it.
Oh, he's brave.
He's very
He's
brave.
brave. Yeah, no, that's so true. I guess like one of my impromptu real life lessons in The Sims 4 is, I do think it's good to have goals in life, but also I think you shouldn't be so focused or tunnel vision on one goal that you miss the doors in the tunnel that open to the side. Because
Yes.
sometimes you get these opportunities that are once in a lifetime, some things that are not according to your plan. So yeah, have goals, but don't get so tunnel vision that you miss life's opportunities. That's my real life lesson in The Sims 4 today.
Whoa. You just blew my mind by saying that because all I'm gonna say is episode 7, Nina and Amanda. That's it.
You included, see those real life lessons. I'm telling you, The Sims has them. This is why I love the game, and that's why I love what they're doing with this Soul's Journey bucket list. Because you're right, Jen. You change as a person, you mature as a person over the years. Like we both have been around a little longer than some and less
Oh,
time
just
than
a
others.
tad. Just a
Yeah,
tad.
just a
Yeah,
tad. And so you just learn different things as you keep living, like what's important, what's not. You
that's right.
morph and you change. And I'm glad that they're gonna allow our Sims to do that too without cheats.
And that's the way, yeah. And it brings a lot of uniqueness to the game, brings some diversity to the game that wasn't there prior. And the different levels to discover.
Yeah,
That's going to be the real challenge. That's what's going to make it even more interesting because one of the things I love about growing together was very much a pack like this,
yeah,
where it allowed you to explore the family dynamic more and
yeah.
really and I can tell you honestly, I still have not discovered almost everything there is about growing together.
Me either. Me either.
Right. And you know, so I think this incorporated with that. I saw Henford had said that this is going to be not to mock religion or anything, but the holy trinity of the Sims world, because you'll have
Yeah,
growing together, you'll have life and death, and then you have parenthood.
yeah. I like parenthood, and also I would even say love struck, because one thing you've
Yeah.
talked about in the past that I've been seeing having a big effect in my game is that romance dynamic blended with that family dynamic. It
Yes.
causes all kinds of things to pop up,
You saw
new
you saw,
interactions.
we did it on the Hayden and Rowan video
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we started them with the strained romance dynamic and the difficult family dynamic as well.
Yeah, and it made it harder for them to get out of the strain. You got them out of the strain romance, and it took time, right? And
Mhm.
then it's even harder to get them out of that difficult family. So I think
Long
having
time.
two hard dynamics really made it a longer process to get them to a good place. Yeah.
Yes, it was a long time. I was going to film I thought about getting them out of the difficult family dynamic, changing them over to another dynamic, but it was taking too long.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, no, I can't do the series on this. This is going to take forever. And it took, I would say it was easily over a month or two before I finally got it to where they
Out
were
of it.
close dynamic now. You did
Yeah.
see it in the Sweet Life video that I did when
Yeah.
I was reviewing the Sweet Life from Lot 51, that mod, which is an amazing hotel mod. I absolutely love it. It
Yeah.
it, it has
It
answered
was
my
cool.
hotel dreams. Let me just
It was really cool.
it
But yeah,
is.
I think that's that real gameplay, and but you have to be, oh my gosh, you have to be a patient simmer. Sorry about my phone.
No
You
problem.
have to be a patient simmer again, like just trying to rush through the gameplay, you won't see it. You'll feel like the pack is not doing what the pack should do. But
Right.
like you said, taking a month or two to change the dynamic, it makes you really boost your gameplay and have to really strive for something. And I think
It
it's great.
I think so too. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to this, aside from dying in bed, is are the wills.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one of the things I do now when it comes to if I have Sims that have a lot of money, I'll put a
Uh-huh.
caretaker in the house with the elder, like a young person.
Yeah.
And that way, if the Sim dies, the caretaker is there. And then I can just have whoever move in, take the money, leave. And that's usually what I do. I have them move in for a bit, take the money, leave, go back.
Yeah,
And it's a
and you know
pain.
what, I use MC Command Center right now, as an impromptu was just handling the cash though, the simoleons, but to tell it like, okay, when a sim dies, have their funds go to the children or to the spouse, or
Right.
I use MC Command Center, which I'll be happy not to have to lean on MC Command Center to do that now. I can just go do a wheel and not just handle the simoleons, but say where I want my children to go. I have a lot of late life surprise pregnancies in my game. But to say
I
like,
noticed that, yes.
yeah, if something happens like, hey, I want my child to go here. I want my horse. I got a couple horses in game right now. I want the horse to go here. You got cats and dogs.
Yes.
No, but you can say, "Hey, I want my cat or dog to go to this sim." I love it. I do.
Yes. Yes. And especially one thing I hate is if you have a single parent with a child and for
Yeah.
ever when I had neighborhood stories enabled, if you enabled everything on neighborhood stories, um, let's just say some Sims would meet their unfortunate ends. And you may not have wanted that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but the problem was that if you had a single person in the house with a kid, then the kid was just whisked away into
And you
oblivion.
couldn't find them. And
No,
so, again, that's something that I was using wonderful. I always say this, I don't play. I have a lot of like CC, but I don't have a lot of gameplay mods. But MC Command Center, I don't know
right.
if I could live without. But yeah, I use that to at least like have the kid go into like an adoption, system. But
Yeah.
still, it's hard to find them sometimes, and sometimes you never do if you don't just run into them in the world or something. And yeah, that is so annoying, Jen. So I'm so glad that they are incorporating that in here because I keep my neighborhood stories enabled, but I noticed that it must have been in one of those patches. It's calmed down a lot. Sometimes
Yes.
I forget it's there, but I
Yes.
love it. You don't lose your kids to the invisible sim foster system. You can
Yes.
put it in the wheel that, hey, I want this person to be a caretaker. Just
Right.
what full gameplay. It's crazy.
Right. So that way, if you have normal lifespan enabled and you're worried about a sim dying, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And also,
Absolutely.
we also need to take into account that there's a whole community of people out there who are not mod players at all,
Mhm.
or cannot play with
And
mods because
can't
they
play
on
on
console.
console. That's
Right.
right.
And this answers their, requests for the longest time. They
Yeah.
wanted more features like this for
Yes.
their game. And for players that are non-mod, I know quite a few who are non-mod players, and I respect their decision. I don't push, anything like, oh, you should get this and you should get that.
You talked about how you didn't play for the long, and I didn't either. I just
Oh,
started maybe 3 years ago using mods. That's
same.
why I don't have a lot of them.
I think now, yeah, it's got to be well now 5 years, I think, but it was something I avoided because I never knew what I was downloading. And my thing is also having an IT background is if you
Me
don't know who
too.
you're downloading from, don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know, if it's not a reliable, trusted source, don't do it
Yeah.
because you don't know what you're getting. You could get something, open up a whole can of worms, and your PC is corrupted and end game.
Yeah.
But now, when I started hearing good things about certain mod creators, like for instance, Robisu, UI
Mhm.
extensions, which is my all-time go-to.
Yeah, I love you.
That UI, I could not play the game without. I, I if I don't have UI enabled, it's like, oh, when is UI getting fixed? And he's
Yeah.
pretty quick about the turnaround. So shout out to
Oh,
Robusto
really
on that.
fast.
He's
Really
great.
fast.
He's absolutely great.
Yeah.
And as I started, learning more about mods, and Patreon, thank God, has a way of vetting good mod creators so that
Mhm.
you're not getting a, thing filled with viruses. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say names because I don't want to mention certain mod communities, but there have
Yeah.
been issues with,
There have been. We
oh,
know about.
yeah, certain pieces of software that do weird things, let's just say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God I never got involved with that
Yeah.
at all.
And
But
curse words changed a lot for me too, Jen, because even with just CC, that's when I started using a lot more CC when it was coming through curse words. Because even if it was
yes,
something that was bad, they were pretty quick to like pull it down like really fast. So
yes,
yeah, that, like you said, but I know you started like we go way back with The Sims, and so
right,
I do understand people that don't play with mods. You shouldn't have to, and going back as a player that played from The Sims, which is the first one, to
yes,
even get like I got all the way deep into Sims 4 before I ever touched a mod, and there are mods for Sims 3, Sims 2. Like I never used them
hmm,
because I didn't need them. And you have to
yeah,
be to a point where you don't need them. So I do think that life and death, like you said, is giving people who don't want to play with mods or who can't, is giving them elements that they should have and that we all should
yes,
have. But
yes.
yeah, I'm for
Ex-
it.
I totally am too. I think that overall, this pack is probably going to be right up there at the top
Yeah,
for the fact that it is a unique pack that they have never done before in any iteration, as I said earlier. And the
right.
other thing is that it is bringing features we have requested forever. Like, I've wanted funerals in my game forever. I
Yeah,
just think I hate the way it is now. They die 3 days, they're over it. And it's
yeah.
like, no, no, it's
Like,
it's it's not like that.
like no, we need
No.
more.
The closest I ever got to anything grieving, I told you the story about the young person and the widower that no, the young
Yeah,
person and her husband, the soldier that died.
yeah.
And because of growing together, it
Uh-huh.
kind of gave it a bit more grieving. I mean, she still had the 3 days and then she was fine, but there were moments where she would actually miss him.
Yes, yes.
And
And think about the family member. They will have the thing and it'll say thinking about this
right.
person. Yeah.
And his ghost icon would come up, and I was like, yeah, she's grieving him still.
Yeah.
And you could see it
Yeah.
in the body language. It it was there, but it wasn't fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
And now we're
Yeah.
going to see that. And that's going to add a whole new level of storytelling for storytellers
Absolutely.
like you, like me, to incorporate into the let's plays, into the gameplay. It's going to really open up whole new levels that we've never seen before in any Sims game. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for. I want to see that meat and potatoes. I want to see that uniqueness that
Yeah.
we've been craving. And I think Life and Death is going to deliver on that.
Oh, absolutely. The grief, yeah, that's the perfect example you just gave with the grief system, taking them more in depth into those emotions because I've gotten those too. My third generation, they were triplets, and the sister
Yeah.
took her sister's man, and sometimes she would get
Hmm.
this booklet from Grow Together, and it would say like just it would say feeling bitter or feeling betrayed, and it would just pop up like but in her friendship
Hmm.
would still look decent with her sister, but just being near her, she would get uncomfortable, and it would say that from being close to a sim that betrayed her. So now
Yeah.
with this grief system, she would have had actual grief from the loss of her friendship with her sister. So I can't wait to get in the gameplay
It's
and the
going to be
story.
great. It's
Yeah,
going to be great. And you're going live on Halloween.
I'm gonna go live. We talked about it and I went back and forth, but I'm planning to tentatively, I'm saying I'm going live on Halloween. So it'll depend on what I have to do with my kiddos, but I'll probably
Gotcha.
be locked down at that point anyway in the day.
Of course, you gotta do the trick or treating.
we,
Absolutely.
we usually get whatever we're gonna do as soon as I get off work and get it done. But so I want to go live. I want to go live with Ember. I want to have her on the Chase by Death. So right now I am planning to go live because I
Good
can't
stuff.
wait. And I know we both talked about having some things ready for our Let's Plays for this pack. And so I did
Mhm.
post about twins that my family had from my Unfaithful series. And you gave a suggestion for a name. So when I get the suggestions in, I'll do a poll. But definitely
Oh,
they're gonna be my twins that I roll forward, a brother and a sister, into this pack. And so I really want to explore a lot of it, and I'm looking now, like for the sim builders, I think they're gonna have a blast with this pack because even where you're
oh
paused
yeah,
right now, I'm looking around. I can see where I was talking about the guy pouring one out. I can see that on top of the bookshelf. It's like the liquor kit where you could pour one out. I see a
yeah,
speaker. I think that's a speaker with the birds around it because you were talking earlier about like, is it crows or is it more birds? I see that. I can see Hilda's portrait, like it's an art piece in the
yeah. There we
back.
go.
Yeah, and then check this bunny out. And I think we've been getting like these, they
This guy
call them
here.
bonies. Yeah, we've been getting those in the Reaper rewards. And I think this is like the big,
Yes.
I don't know what that is, but that's like the big form of him, it looks like. So, yeah, like I'm seeing a lot even in this still shot as we see here talking about the pack. Just, I mean, goodness, look at the details. The rug, that's a new rug. Both of
Hmm.
those rugs are. That flooring is new, I'm pretty sure, because it was in another shot in a lighter
Yeah.
swatch. And the lighter swatch is what caught my attention. I really like that. This rocking chair, you know how you can have the kids play in the rocking chair? He's
Yes.
playing, that's a new rocker, and I love me a rocker.
Me too. Me
And
too. I
go ahead, Jen.
No, it's okay. Go. You
I
continue.
was gonna say, you know what blends well with this? The storybook nursery kit, the dark swatches
That's
in
what I was
it.
going to say. That's
Yes,
what I was going to say.
it'll smack with this, like with this pack. Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that I think six may have had. I don't know if six knew, but I
But it
think
looks like it.
I think six had a feeling. Let's just say
Yeah.
that this could be the next pack when
It's
Nursey.
it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
That
but
black,
also
the dark reds, the dark greens, perfect with this pack.
yeah, and I love that kit. That kit is so great. And whenever they have kits come out by well-known CC creators like Sixum CC, like Ebonics,
Yeah.
like Plumbella even designed one, which I absolutely love. It's the one I'm talking about.
I don't think I know that one. Oh,
Oh,
was it? I can't
the
think.
pastel kit,
The past,
the
that's
pastel.
right. I
Yeah,
don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, the pastel
sorry,
one.
Plumbella, I messed it up. It's age. I apologize. And
I know,
yeah,
right?
random moments. Oh, we gotta love that. Okay,
I know.
so cloudiness, yeah. But the thing is that all these little hints, these kits that are designed by CC creators, have knocked it out of the ballpark each and every time.
Yeah.
And I love when they do that, and that is even better now that they have these kits that are going to be forthcoming EA creator kits
Yeah. And they
because
always drop the hints. They
and
always
yes,
I'm
they
not the
do.
best at picking them up, but for example, I remember back when Cottage Living was coming out. I remember specifically watching a Dr. Gluon video where he had picked all of these things out for a death pack. It was all of these clues in the Cottage Living that he picked out for a death pack. And so many packs came in between that it was like, oh, maybe he was wrong, but no, he had nailed it because here's the pack. And they would have been working on it already. It for sure didn't just start working on this pack. So there are always clues there, and it's just a matter of following those clues, I think.
Yes. And like drop the mic, which hasn't happened once, drop the camera.
I know. I said she'll get it reoriented.
I was like, okay, I'm doing really good. The mic hasn't fallen off because I got a new anchor for the now it
For
looks
the
like
mic.
Batman. Remember Batman back in the day with that?
Yes. I do.
But it's okay.
That's
I think
cool.
I yeah, it's okay right now. I don't know what happened. I think it came off the stand. This thing is old anyway. I'm due for a new one, so maybe
Okay.
next time we go live, I'll get another one.
All
But
right.
overall, the kits do serve a purpose with people who don't use mods, and of course, console players who can't get CC.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the EA has done this with the EA Creative Kits. And yes, you do see those little hints being thrown in there. They do have a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of, I don't know if they do have a little bit of knowledge being given about the next pack and are said, hey, you know what, throw this in there, throw that in there.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, they come out so beautiful and they're incorporated so well into the game that they have high replay value.
Value, yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I've been using the storybook kit left and right. I haven't
Me
gotten the artist kit.
too.
I
I'm like, I
haven't
had to make myself use other things.
I haven't gotten the artist kit yet. I
Me
probably
either.
will get that maybe, I don't know, maybe like a month or so. But it is a beautiful kit. Let me say that. It's an
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful kit.
it
EA
is.
did an amazing job with that kit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the Sims team did an amazing job with that kit. But the Storybook Nursery, I wanted to get that right at the start because
me too. I
it was
use
like,
6 all the time.
yeah.
Like,
And
the
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the CC
No.
I use, especially like they can offer some gameplay because he does a lot of children's toys that are playable and build skills. Like I use a lot of all of his kid stuff all the time. So I felt like, and I'm not a big kid buyer, but I felt like if you're gonna get a kid, you got to get this kid because you use all his CC, and
Yes.
it didn't disappoint. I didn't think it would.
No, it didn't disappoint. And there were some things I did the review on it, and I thought I covered all the bases, and then I forgot about the wallpaper. And I said to Six on Twitter that, you know, I forgot to talk about the wallpaper. I said, he goes, that's exactly what I wanted. He goes, I wanted you not to mention certain things because, discovery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I realized it, and when I put it up, I was like, "Oh, this is like Pleasant View, like the
Mhm.
town." Like,
Yep.
there's throwback, right? So if you know, you know, it's throwback,
Yeah.
and it is beautiful. So, yeah, I think it has a purpose like all of these things. I admit that I don't have the most kids. I joked in one video, I've got all the free kids, plus the nursery, plus the
Yeah.
perfect patio that my son clicked as soon as I got up from my computer and bought, and I said, "Parents, lock your stuff down." See, he was like, "No, I don't want this." It was too late. But But you know what? I use the stuff though. I would have
There
never
you
picked
go.
it, but I use it. But I say that I say that to say this, and I talked about it earlier. Hey, you will like some packs, some you won't. Some is not that you don't like it, it's just not like
Right.
your gameplay style, but I
Right.
respect it because I'm not vain enough to think because I don't like something, nobody will like it. I
That's
know
right.
that people will like it, and then you do have the option if you don't like it or it doesn't fit your gameplay style, then don't get that thing. And
That's
if it
exactly right.
does, get it. Yeah.
Exactly. One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Treasure.
You're going to, someone is not always going to like what someone else doesn't. When you have, well, I said that wrong. That's
Yeah,
that's
you.
that, yeah.
I got
But
it.
someone's not always going to like what someone else does, and you're going to have that difference of opinion either way. But
Yeah.
that's what brings us together as community, that we have all these opinions, we have this diversity, we have different walks of life from all over the world, different cultures. But at the core of it all, we all
Yeah.
love The Sims. We
That's
can
it.
we can talk to anybody from any part of the world about The Sims. And
That's
although
right.
there are strong opinions about some things in The Sims,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
seen the debate with the Maxis match and the Alpha CC, which
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is really.
It's it's
But
just drama is what it is. Like you can like one or the other or both. Like it's no big deal. And I think I kind
right.
of take that stance a lot. I've told you that it's something that I really like about how you present The Sims and gameplay and even your podcast about The Sims.
Yes.
It's times where things aren't right and you say these things aren't right,
Yeah.
but you're not trashing the game.
Right.
Is constructive, and it is a such thing as constructive criticism, and that would mean there's a such thing as criticism that's not constructive. It's just mean
Right.
spirited.
Right. Like I've seen there's a couple of channels I subscribe to, that some people would be like, why are you subscribed to them? Why are you giving them any kind of, well, I want to see what they have to say.
Yeah,
I may
yeah,
not I may not agree with their opinion. I may
yeah.
not like half of the content they put out,
Mm-hmm.
but they do have a point in some of the things that they say. And
Right.
you need to have that balance. You can't be all one-sided on one issue and
Mm-mm.
and ignore the other. You have to somewhere in the middle. So I try to keep, for my own self, I try to keep that in mind, that as much
A
as there's the
balance.
negativity on this side,
Yeah.
there positivity on this side. If it's all positive, 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 something's up.
Right.
Something's
Something
up.
is up. But you're right. It does have to be constructive. And overall, The Sims is a game. So I
Right.
do think that one thing I'm never going to do about a game, because me and you have, been in life. There are things in life that come along that you don't control. You have to
Mhm.
work through it. I'm never going to let
Yes.
a game stress me out.
No.
Never gonna let a game. And I
No.
love this game. And you have to respect other people. Even me and you, we have some things in common with our gameplay, but then it's different at the same time. If I
Yes.
watch your channel and if someone watched my channel, we may be playing a family, we may be in some legacy, but the story may be completely approached from a completely different perspective. And
Right.
I talked to one of my subscribers about this. Like, this is the perfect thing about The Sims. They were telling me about like how they play, and I was like, that is so cool. That's what I like about the game, because you can play different from somebody else, and that's what you're supposed to do. It's
Yes.
fine.
Thank you for that. Yes, and that's true as well. One of the things I love about your gameplay style, your storytelling, is that you come up with totally different scenarios that I don't think that anyone has ever really seen before in the storytelling
Thank
genre.
you.
Like Stone Love, the mad scientist. That's how I found your channel, as you know. And your newest one, I Come in Peace. It's like aliens. I'm such a Y-Files fan. I'm like, yeah, that's right up my alley. And I love the way that's going, especially the last episode when she was like,
Yeah.
Andreas, do you have something you want to tell me?
Right.
With the
He's
purple kid, you know?
Yeah, it's like he's hidden that he's an alien, then the baby comes
Right.
out purple. But I
And
tell
then,
people like let your imagination roam free, right? There's
right,
no boundaries in a sim game as far as, you know, just doing something new or different. If you feel bored, try something different because there's
right,
definitely, like you talked about a minute ago, there's something in the game you haven't tried. You're just bored because you haven't tried something different. But if it makes you comfortable to always play the same career, the same thing, and you like that and it keeps you entertained, it's
right.
nothing wrong with that either. It's absolutely nothing wrong
No,
with it. So I
there
love
isn't.
it. Yeah, I love positive sim content that does, make the Sims team aware of the issues, especially if you're going all the way through. I know you do, I do. If there's a real issue, I go and report it to
Me
the
too.
team online directly. And if I'm in the middle of gameplay and it doesn't break my game, because contrary to popular belief, everything doesn't break the game, I just keep flowing. I roll it into my storytelling and I play
Hmm.
and I report it online and wait to get a fix. So, but I
That's what,
think this
yeah.
pack is going to come out strong. I think it's going to come out strong. I can be hopeful in that. And I think that the gameplay you can see and the behind the scenes, it's just going to be a game changer. I said in the last review, like, this pack is giving me life.
Yes. That is perfect way to put it. Perfect way to put it. This pack is giving life. And it's going to give life to console players, to non-mod players. And
Yeah.
also, can you imagine what the modders are going to do with this thing?
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
I'm down
They
for it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be crazy. They're so talented, some of them, and I can only imagine. It's
and yeah, the different cheats that are going to come out with UI. I mean, it's going to be off the rails. It's going to be so fun.
Man,
It's going
I
to be really
can't wait. I can't wait to get a hold of it. I can't wait to integrate it into my gameplay. And I do mean integrated because though I will have a series that holds that name, like a Sims 4 Life and Death story,
yeah,
but it'll be in all my packs. Like I don't just play a pack once and throw it away. I integrate pieces of all the packs I do have into all of my gameplay. And I think this is going to be good to see how it interacts because, like you said, when we see the devs deep dive, it is just, with the base game. And you said,
right,
like you said, it's a reason for that.
right.
But I kind of wish they would split it and do one with just the base game, or if you're doing an hour, do 30 minutes with the base game and 30 minutes with all packs enabled in case a person had all packs. And
Mhm.
let's see how it worked because like you said, you can notice things. That's like I had pre-ordered my wedding stories for the bill buy things because I don't really care a lot about weddings in real life. But once I saw the dev thing, I was like, I shouldn't have got it because
Yeah.
nothing worked in the stream.
I was, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it because maybe what we're seeing in early access is being worked out.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I was like, how could
Yeah.
they release this? How? And I did curse a blue streak,
Yeah.
but it was.
As
I wish that,
$50 will make
yeah.
you do. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, it was a game pack. I think it was 19.99 when it was released. But the
Oh,
thing
maybe
is,
it was.
yeah. But the thing still, you're $20. $20 of
Yeah.
your hard-earned money.
You work for that money. Yeah.
And when you get a product, you expect just as in general, a consumer in general, when you
Absolutely.
buy a product, you expect it to work a certain way.
Yep.
And as a consumer, you deserve that, right? I mean, I know in my business, if I ever released a service that was faulty, or if I sold a product as a salesperson when I was younger that was bad,
Yeah.
they took you to task on it, you know,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
rightfully so.
Mhm.
So, the thing is that yes, they eventually did get it done. And I do like the update they did for My Wedding Stories. They gave us a lot more control, where it's basically to the point
Yeah,
where you can micromanage it
you
right down.
can.
Because my biggest thing is I hated when the groom walked down the aisle and would not stay
Just
at the
roams
art.
off.
Just walks off, goes to
You're
work out, gets
outside.
a
Yeah,
drink, dances, does
they
push-ups.
did. You're right. It was crazy, and they finally fixed a lot of it. But I will say, from the things that I have gotten since, I have not seen the likes of that again.
No,
And I like, and you talked about this in the "What the hell are you doing?" You talked about how it was a good thing. I like that they're doing these updates, these patches every other month. I think they're
yes,
doing every 2 months, and they have these laundry lists instead of just waiting till a pack comes out to do them. So there's them trying to go back and fix things in the game. And games are hard to fix on the tail end, but not impossible. So I like that they're putting that work in.
they are, and they're doing a great job. And they have continued to be very proactive, and they've followed up on all the directives so far, which I've been
Absolutely.
really, really pleased about. And I hope that this continues. I like seeing this direction from them because if they continue on this path, they are going to get that trust back from the Sims community. There's always been those that will fall in line with them no matter what they do. There's always
Yeah.
going to be like, I'm behind them 100%. I'm like that,
Yeah.
because I love the game.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
game, is what I do for fun, and now hopefully a career eventually. But
Right.
the thing is, or retirement project, as I like to call it, um, the thing is that they're answering these requests from the community. They are
Yeah.
getting those people who may have been like, I'm angry at you because you broke my game. And now they're getting these problems taken care of for those people
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
continuing along this direction. And the
Right.
directives that they're coming down are strong.
Yeah.
So everything that they're doing right, and they're knocking it out. And I've got to say it, this pack looks like they've knocked it out of the ballpark. Now, I'm not about to give
Absolutely.
it a grand slam yet,
Until we see, but we'll know.
right? But I do think that this has a potential for being a grand slam. And I do not give out grand slams easily.
I know. You don't. And so it
I do not.
should be, and that's right. It should be earned. And I'm the same way. I can only say that I like what I see, and I'll know once I play it. But I can say that I'm in the same camp as you. I'm not gonna like give up on The Sims. And I think that comes from like, I think I got it the year after the first one came out. So 23 years I've been playing. I'm not gonna just like stop playing. It's
Me
been a
neither.
good source of fun for me, stress relief from the real life things. And
Yes.
I love the game. And if The Sims tells me like, hey, yeah, because this is what they're saying without saying it. We're acknowledging that we did some things subpar. We're gonna go back and fix it. And so I'm
Absolutely.
going to be behind that because in general, it's always exceptions. But in general, I'm like that about life. I believe that people can change. I believe that in change. So I think that you have to believe in it if that's what you're going to choose to do, keep playing the game. And I'm going to keep playing.
Me too. Me too. I'm right there with you. I could see myself playing for years and years and years to come. And I think this is a franchise that is going to be around for another 20 years.
Yeah,
As technology changes, as people change their gameplay style. We're already seeing that there are parents that play with their kids,
absolutely.
and in some
Absolutely.
cases, grandkids.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And that's an amazing thing when and there are games that, have been around a long time like that. And that's always amazing when somebody can develop something that can draw people in and hold them for that long.
yes.
Because you're right, like I come in peace. My daughter created the name for this series. My son
Oh,
made
really?
KA, who just passed as an elder in my game. That was based off my real son, KA. He built him for me.
Yes.
So
Oh,
as a child
he
sim,
did.
he
Oh,
built them for me. And so, yeah, it's times that we play together. It's times my daughter, we climb on my bed and she's got her laptop playing and I got mine playing.
Aw,
So, and that's cool,
that's
to
really
have a
sweet.
team that just wants to sit by you and play the game that you're playing and you playing the same game on different computers. Like it's cool because you can talk about it. You can turn to me and be like, look at this.
Yeah.
It's bonding moments built around games. And games have always been that way. And so I
Yes.
love that The Sims is it's got all of these aspects in it that can echo real life, but that can also take you into complete occult fantasy. I love it.
Yes. Yes. Well, I gotta say, the Nina and Amanda series would never have happened. I would never have
Yeah.
wrote it the way I did if not for The Sims. And
Yeah.
because of that one little glitch,
Yeah.
that one little thing. And I was like, boom, whole storyline goes off.
Yeah.
Because primarily, if I do have 3 books out, but I've always written about solid, one type of character, which is
Okay.
usually middle aged, white American female from the Northeast, particularly New York. Or, I had the family legacy story which was my first book, which, whenever you write a first book, it's like disaster.
You were brave enough to step out and do it though.
Thank you for that. And, you're never going to know until you take that first step.
Absolutely.
So any writers out there, if you're thinking about putting out a book, do it. Don't worry about it. Go for it.
Yeah.
But it would never have happened if not for that glitch. And I would have never written about the characters because it would never have occurred to me to write about those characters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, and now, it's second season coming up, as we saw last night. There's so much in this season that is going to
Yeah.
be a surprise to a lot of people. I know last night we saw Lady T's reaction was like, "No!"
She's like, wow.
And then yeah, oh my god, they get wild, yeah. And she has a great series. I love her Elder series.
Me
But
too.
again, that's very unique storytelling there.
Yeah, you're right. I've watched her Elder series and I've not seen anything like it. As a matter of fact, all I
I
hear
agree
is
with
people
you.
saying I can't play Elders. And here she is with Elders in the City wilding out.
Yes. Yes. Go grandmas. And grandpas.
And it looks completely different than anything I've watched. And again, like you said, it's just appreciating how diverse storylines can be, how different, like I appreciate you talking about like the characters you write about because yeah, I make it a habit. I hashtag Black Simmer, but I have a lot of Sims of color. Some are ambiguous. You can't tell what they would be if they were in real life. Some are white. I try to mix it up a lot because I feel like that's how the real world looks, even when people can't see that.
Right.
That's how it looks. So, yeah, it'll pull you out of your comfort zone. You talked about your story and all these different elements at play in your story. Well, that's the thing. The Sims don't have to run like you operate. They
Right.
can run for what is entertaining to you,
Right.
and that's good.
Right. And something I probably would never have thought about the storyline if not for that glitch. But
Yeah.
we were talking about that the other day about storytelling in general. You know, it's important sometimes to get the messaging out.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to bring the narrative out, but when the narrative and the messaging overpowers the story, that's when it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be lectured.
Yeah.
I don't want to be preached to. But if you see stories like
Mm,
The Last of Us, for example, The Last
yeah,
of Us does it where the story is paramount
man.
and the messaging is complementary to
To
the
the story.
storyline. Right.
Mhm.
In your stories, what I see when I look at your stories is not necessarily about a Black person, but this person's struggle in
Yeah.
their life, just like Game of Thrones did with
Yeah.
Tyrion Lannister. You know, Peter Dinklage, he was shot at for that performance. The man should have won an Emmy five
Killed
times
it.
over.
Killed it.
Actually, he did, didn't he? He won twice.
He won some. He definitely won some. He's amazing.
But the thing is, when you see the character, he's a dwarf.
Yeah.
But as the story progresses, you don't see the dwarf. You see the
Mm-mm.
man. You see
Yeah.
Tyrion.
Yeah. Even the injustices, you start to get upset, not because he's a dwarf, but because, like, why would you treat a person like this? And you
Right.
so you're right, like, you said it perfectly, at the author and you said it perfectly. Yeah, the messaging can't overshadow the story. Like you said, the struggles my son have are because they're people, and any person
Right.
could have that same struggle. And
Exactly.
so and then we're gonna have like seriousness, and you might be like, "Oh man, that's crazy." Then you might be laughing the next minute. But that's what The Sims has enabled us to do. And I will tell you, when I started playing those years ago, that is what drew me to the game. And even though it was a million miles away from what it looks like today, the game, it
Mhm.
still was at a place that I didn't see other games at that time.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
allowed it allowed for you to represent yourself in any way that you chose to.
Yeah.
And you could or your visions in any way that you chose to. For the longest time, for me personally, it was more or less a writing exercise. I always thought one day I would eventually do this, but never had the time. Work always involved, family, life, all it's
Yeah.
all these things compounding to not give me the ability to do it. And now having the ability to do it, it it's giving me a new way to tell a story. And I've always
Absolutely.
wanted to be able to do that I wanted to do a let's play and be able to impart my writing style on it and make it unique. And that's what we see in the let's play series. That's why these let's play series have hundreds of thousands of views and millions of views, which
That's
eventually
true.
I do believe you and I will acquire. You know,
From your
so
lips to God's ears.
yep, yes, from our mouths to God's ears, please. Yeah. But you see, like for instance, James Turner's Big Wallet Saga. I love that. I
Yeah.
think that that is phenomenal storytelling. It cracks me up every time he aired a new episode. The Legacy's Tiny Town Adventure,
Yeah.
and you know all different types of storytellers. Whether they have Sims for Seniors, she's doing the surviving the nuclear holocaust right now. It's
Oh,
the
wow. I gotta check it
I,
out.
it's an actual challenge that you
Yeah.
can do, and but the storytelling of it is like wow.
I gotta check it out.
Do you
But
remember seeing
that's
the day after when you were younger?
yeah,
Did
yeah.
Okay,
I
and
actually rewatched it not long ago.
me too. I was like that one scene, I was like, "Ooh," to this day, I get tears in my eyes when I see that. It's
Yeah.
just it's brutal, but
Yeah.
amazing storytelling. But again, I'm talking about telling a story with a strong narrative behind it, but incorporating those elements to make it paramount to the
Yeah.
situation. And that's what we're seeing in Sims for Seniors' latest Legacy Challenge. She has taken this to a whole new level, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've definitely gotta check her out because I didn't know about it. But that's the thing. Then you talk to people and you learn about new people, and every person is a different storyteller. And the thing is, with the pack like Life and Death, these types of packs that kind of bring your Sims more personality, it allows for all of these different people to tell all of these very different types of stories. Even when people are doing the same challenge, they don't come out the same
Yes,
because because if they have what they need in the game without mods, without anything else, only if they want to put those things in there, then they can really tell a full story. They can really get into the details. They can make so much happen. And you talk about that, and also like it just reminds me of first watching Simmers on YouTube And even back to playing when I was younger, like people talk about Sims 2, Sims 3. I like those games. Sims 2 used to stress me out because it was too much like real life for me.
Oh
I
yeah.
would be playing like, oh my God, we can't eat, we can't pay the bill.
Sims 2 was unhinged. Sims 2 was so unhinged. There, I told this. I told you this story. This story. I had a sim named Sebastian,
Yeah.
and Sebastian had an unfortunate issue. He cheated on his wife, and then his wife died,
Oh
and
no.
but her mother survived.
Oh God.
And you know where I'm going with this. So every time the mother saw Sebastian, she would beat him up, and I would hear him cry in the background. I'm like, oh, she's got him again. But or there would be times where the parents would fight, the kids would see this, they would react to this, and then later on remember that they were angry at the other sim for fighting with the other parent. So,
Yeah.
and that just showed the chemistry system that it had, the memory system it had,
Right.
the
Because that's great.
consequences. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what's kind of lacking in The Sims 4. It's like, oh, they died. Yeah, I'm fine 3 days later. Now you're going to see those consequences, whether, like you said, it's loss of a loved one, loss of a job, loss of a friendship,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
There's loss of a pet, especially loss of a pet, which I think is as traumatic as losing a human relative, if not more. Um, you know, all of these things will play out, and the cross-plat gameplay abil the game cross the cross-plat gameplay in this is going to be incorporated in such a way that it will expand it even further, and that's what an expansion pack should do. An
It
expansion
should.
pack should expand the game.
That's
Now, I
right.
do think Love Struck did that. I do think it
Mhm.
is a true expansion pack, but you don't see meat and potatoes, really. You
Yeah.
see layers and background mechanics at work.
Perfect
That
way to
does
describe it.
right.
Mhm.
But people wanna see meat and potatoes. They
Yeah.
wanna see the gameplay, and this is delivering on that. You're still getting that background activity, you're still getting those layers that they've incorporated into Growing Together, into Love Struck. But now you're getting the gameplay on top of that,
Yeah.
and that's gonna make a lot of simmers really happy.
And people are already doing amazing things with it. I just like in preparation, like I watched a trailer by a simmer named Faith the other day, and I just finished her Collide series, which tackled a heavy subject, DV, a DV situation. But
Oh.
yeah, it was a 10-part series, very good storytelling. But she did a trailer and didn't say it explicitly. If you see the trailer, definitely, she's ready for this pack, I believe.
Oh, you gotta send
Definitely,
it to
she's
me.
just
You gotta
yeah,
send it to
yeah.
me after this.
Yeah, I have to, like, and I saw it and I was like, "Oh, she's ready for this pack." Yeah. It's Simmers that are ready for this pack.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
people that just play at home and are not on camera, they're ready for this pack. So, and
I'm one
like
of
you
them.
said, even the cautious people, hey, like my message to anybody, look, like, hey, you don't have to be like, you don't have to be scared to be happy for a pack. If you're excited for the pack, just be excited.
You heard me on the last video when I saw the sim dying in bed. Now that is a sad thing. That is
It's,
a morbid thing. I was like, "Yes!"
you're like, yeah,
The
he
internet
died
war
in bed.
converged. Yes.
Woo!
I was just like, I
But
was going crazy. My
yeah,
husband comes down, he's like, "What are you screaming about?"
like, what is wrong?
Okay.
Only a Sims player can be happy about a death.
Totally. And then he was like, "You're really excited about this." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't understand. It's gonna lead a whole new storytelling." And he's like,
When his soul comes out of his mouth, like
"Yeah,
they did it again in this trailer.
I saw that. Let me pull that up here."
Yeah, I know why you were screaming. What'd your husband say after that when you explained you were excited about a death?
He was like, "Oh, really?" And then I explained to him the mechanics about it because the thing is, Marty wasn't a simmer when I met him.
Yeah.
And, I said to him, I was like, when we started to get to know each other, talked about, what do you like to do? Well, I just like to play the Sims. Oh yeah, I heard about it. What is that? And we talked about it. And he said to me, he goes, you know, when we moved in together, I was playing the game and he sat down beside me, can I watch? And I'm like, yeah. And he's watching it and he's like, oh my God, this is so wild. And he will actually watch me play the game sometimes. In fact, I bought Horse Ranch for him.
Oh, okay.
He
That's cool.
Many years ago when he lived in Maine, he had a horse named Autumn, and he
Oh,
loved her. But
that's amazing.
he had a first marriage. They got divorced, and the horse belonged to the ex-wife, so he came back to New York. But he missed her. So
Yeah.
when I got Horse Ranch, I made Autumn for him.
Oh, that's so sweet. But that's what I'm talking about. Sims create bonding moments. It really does.
Right, like you were saying before, you have bonding moments with your daughter. The two of you will sit with your laptops on the bed and talk and share moments. And this, because kids will watch you do whatever. If you're washing the dishes, the kid will come over when to get involved. If you're cooking, the kid will come sometimes. I'm saying sometimes, not all the time.
Other times
You're
I'm like,
cleaning
get
the
over here
house,
and
kids
help.
be like, I don't think so. No. But my niece was like that. My niece was like, she'd see me do something and she'd be like, what are you doing? "Oh, I'm just I'm working on a video. Can I watch?" "Yeah, you can
That's
watch it." She'd watch
cool.
me edit. But this is something parents can share with their children, that are sharing with their children, like your children. You're sharing with
Absolutely.
them. And that's really what the game is about. It's about bringing people together, not just online, but in real life.
Yeah. This is a good spot you stopped at here too, because of the different types of graves. You got
Yeah.
crypts available. Like this is nice. You got above ground options now. This is
Yes.
great. I did see because you mentioned some things they put out. I saw the new mermaid iron and grave um
Yes. Let me see if I
that
can
they
find
had.
that on Twitter real quick.
And yeah, it's really, really nice. Like I love the details. I love that it's specific to the mermaids, how pretty it is. So they've really stepped up. A lot of simmers already like to build graveyards, and it's not something I've done. I do try to put the family graves together in a generations family, but that's a different thing than having an actual lot designated as a graveyard to bury your Sims in, to lay them to rest. And that's gonna be great because even in a generations family, if you move from house to house, sometimes like I had to do some things with my legacy family, or else the house would leave and the graves will leave, or they would be like at a Sims house that doesn't know the people. So yeah, that is beautiful in the shell. Like the grave marker has the shell around it. And I
Right.
really love the iron too. Like the urn is nice. This is very
Yes.
the small details for me. I say this about your series. I always like the small things in it that you just put extra. If your sim, you'll have your sim pick up a newspaper with an article about themselves or something. Like it's the small details that really take something to the next level. And the Sims, I think they
Yes.
looks like from these trailers, I can't wait to see the actual pack, but it looks like they've got it.
I agree with you. One of the things that made Sims 2 so unique are those little tiny details that were in there
Yeah.
that people remember for years and years to come. And when Sims 3 came out and there was this whole new system with the open world and everything, and people were still saying, yeah, but what about this? And what about
About
that?
that.
Where's
Yeah.
the heart-shaped bed? Where's this? Where's that? And they missed these things. They missed the lore of these things.
Yeah.
And Sims 4 a lot of people were just like, well, why don't we have these things back in here?
Yeah. When
And
we
that
got
was
to 4, people were like, "Let's go back to 3," but when we got to 3, people were like, "Let's go back to 2." Like
yeah,
like, me and you been around longer, so what you start to recognize is this happens every time it's a new one that comes out. But you're
yeah,
right, when you capture it, because you mentioned Sims 2 having the details, even like the animation details for
yes,
the year it came out, what our PCs could process at the time. The animations were
yeah,
amazing for Sims 2. Like the Sims 2 stressed me out, but that's what kept me from rage quitting it. The
hmm
animation, the details in the world. It was
and
crazy.
unhinged. They were
It was
unhinged.
fine. I
It
couldn't keep
was
a
like,
sim alive. You know, you would look through the telescope at your neighbor and then they would come over and beat you up.
yes, yeah, things like that.
They'll come warn you one time. They'll be like, I saw you looking though. Then you do
yes,
it again, the neighbor come and next thing you know it's a fight.
yes. Or the neighbor would steal the paper from the other neighbor's yard, and the sim would yell at them and go after them. One of the funniest things that I remember Sims 2 was like if a sim had an accident and there was another sim nearby, they would point and laugh.
Yeah, they would. Or was that 2 or 3 where they would leave a dog poop on your doorstep if they got mad
Oh
at you?
yeah.
Like,
The flaming
whichever
yeah,
one,
I think it
they
was
would get
3.
mad at you about something, your neighbor or something, and you might retaliate like animation they still have, like you might go kick their trash.
Mhm.
Then they would leave dog poop in a bag on your doorstep.
Yes. Yes. And I don't, that's something, is that the screen? Yeah, it's okay. That's something I don't do we have that in Sims 4 where you leave the flaming dog poop? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do. I don't think
That
we've
would be
got the flaming
great
dog poop. We
for
don't.
a prank. I would love to see that for a prank come back.
Yeah, but
But
you would have beef with your neighbors. You would have like all kind of stuff.
yes, and the thing is they say more intelligent Sims, more emotional. Well, sometimes it's like they walk around like you said, that movie Smile.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh.
Like they just had a fight and they're sitting there, "Hi."
I'm like, what?
What about the
Why?
consequences of that?
Yeah.
Why would you be happy after a situation like that?
Because that was in Sims 2 and 3, I believe, where you talked about the sim cheating. So,
Right.
say you were married with the kid and the kid saw the parent cheat, they would get
Oh,
mad
going for
at the
life.
parent. And sometimes they would fight the mistress or the guy. I don't know what you call a side guy, side piece guy. They would fight the kid. The kid would fight that person if they were old enough, like a teen or something, but they would
Yes.
definitely be mad at the parent that cheated if they witnessed it. It was crazy.
Right.
So I'm hoping to see more of those things because it seems like they talking about keeping Sims 4 around. So I'm happy to see the patchwork and fixing the game, but also I am liking these packs like Life and Death. Give me more emotional Sims. Like
Yes.
give me some of those interactions. I don't need them all. They're a different game, but give me some of those interactions.
Also,
Um,
we were talking about, not to interrupt, sorry, but we were
oh no, go
talking
ahead.
about the unhingedness of the game.
Yes.
That's such a word.
Yeah.
These crypts right here. This is a woohoo spot.
Yeah. Which is top tier
Unhinged.
unhinged. Yeah.
Totally. Totally.
And
But
we saw
awesome.
them. Yeah, and we saw them woohoo and the other ones on the left-hand side, which is just like the vampire woohoo. But to see them go ahead and throw it into this type of burial site too. Like,
Right.
yeah, give us woohoo spots. Give us everything.
Well, speaking of woohoo spots, one of the things they've revealed is that ghosts now have the ability to woohoo on anything.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
that mud from Lupino.
My
Lupino.
lump of Dubai,
Lumping
honey.
lumping out.
That
Lumping out or lumping out, right.
I don't, yeah. So look, I don't. I
Sorry,
know that my southern self pronounces it wrong a lot. But yeah, the
I always
relationship overhaul mod is one of the modules in it. And yeah, and that combined with my MC Command Center has my Sims doing things they shouldn't. So this is going to put it in the game that you can do things you shouldn't all on your own
Mhm.
in the game. No mod necessary.
I can see this like a couple of months later, the ghosts are hanging out. Oh my god, they're woohooing in
Yeah.
your let's plays.
Yes, cause you already know.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah,
I'm having it happen and I took out parts of them out. I'm like, what is happening? And that is what the goal is, like you mentioned. Modders are like amazingly talented,
oh
but
yeah,
if you don't want to play with them or you don't have the ability, you shouldn't be dependent on that. And I will say, even with Love Struck, I took a lot of the few gameplay mods I had out, even my romance overhaul that I love. I took out a lot because she has modules in it. So I
yeah,
took out a lot of the pieces to it. I was able to get rid of most of the Little Miss Sam mods I had. So I was able to roll with it, and that's how I prefer to play. Like, I'm thankful for the modders, but I don't
yes,
think the game should have to depend on it. I think that the mods should be used to enhance it. And I think you said this before. Once you get the game right, then those same talented modders can think up completely new ideas versus things that fix the game.
right,
They can think of things that are even more things that are outside of those boxes.
right. And the thing is, The Sims has been around now 10 years. Sims 4 has been around 10.
Yeah,
Let me correct that. Sims
it's a long
20 years.
time.
Right, Sims 410. But in that time, it seems like in the last year, they have seriously taken a step up from what they've done previously. Now, there's a
Yeah,
lot of things I think that they have missed that I think should not have taken 8 to 10 years to bring us.
yeah,
But again, we have to look at how long it takes to develop video game content.
long
Well,
time.
what we're seeing now could have been developed 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
And
agree.
and now, although you have AI that helps you speed up the programming a little bit, not to replace, but to aid. Let's say
Yeah,
that because I don't
yeah,
believe in replacing people with AI,
yeah,
but aiding people with
yeah.
AI to maybe make their jobs easier. The process may be speeding up a little quicker. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
this is the way that they're doing it. I am theorizing this is
Right,
a
right.
possible way because only EA and Maxis know how they're doing it.
Exactly.
But what they're
But
planning
I see
2
what you're
years
saying.
ago, right, but what they're planning 2 years ago may not be what we wanted 2 years later.
Right. Because you do have a time delay for the time you come up with the concept to the time you can actually see it developed.
Right,
And you do, yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because you do have to appreciate that in things like gaming, you could be working from a deficit from the start because of the
yes.
time it takes. And we've seen that. Like, I know people have all these things that they say, but this is the same reason that, in my opinion, like Life by You didn't work out. These
Yeah,
things, because from the time you had an idea is great, but by the time you get it developed, okay, now maybe my graphics are a little outdated. Maybe my idea as a whole is outdated. You don't know. I don't think their idea was outdated, but I do think other things had happened.
yes,
And certainly the Sims would have this battle as well, this struggle. But I just think they've been around so long that they've kind of balanced some out. But like you said, you talked about 2 to 3 years to get this idea done. And that reminds me of just a second ago, I was talking about how they had the clues and the cottage living pack. So that's been about that time frame, right?
right.
So that's
Yep.
probably when they were working on it already. So
When
you have a risk, like, do people still want this by the time I can get it to them? And
yeah,
you pointing it out, there are a lot of people that think if I say I want this game and you say you're gonna do it, they think it materializes within a month or 2, but that's
well,
not how it works.
if you remember the last Sims Summit they had, when they're behind the Sims,
Mm-hmm.
you saw someone come out. It was probably Simguru Ninja, but you saw them come out dressed as the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, you're
And that
right.
was a tease right then and there. And
It
plus,
was.
Simmer Aaron's fantastic when it comes to predicting possible gameplay and game packs,
Yeah.
expansion packs, what have you. She always cites the different surveys from previous years, like 2020. 2020 was a big one
Yeah.
because they asked us, what would you like to see? What would be the most important thing to you? And I like that they do that. They take the community's point of view into account.
Yeah.
But one of the things they proposed was the Reaper career.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
And I
You're right.
don't know who it was, but maybe around, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, one of the modders, I think it was Twisted Mexi, as a matter of fact, came out with a full list of cheats that you could use. And one of the trait skills that you could add was reaping.
Mm-hmm. So they had already put that in the back end of the game as
Right,
they worked on developing.
right.
And you mentioned the surveys because I think we talked about this, but they just
Possibly.
did one. They just
Yes.
did a survey and they asked you about I completed it. They asked you about 8 packs. Pack ideas. They
Yes.
had like an apocalypse type pack. They had like a water world type pack. They it was some good ones. It was like a childhood one, like with a camp and stuff like that. They were across the board, but I do expect and like but that's the thing, people see it, they get really excited, which is I understand I was excited. But realistically, I think we'll see some of those probably in 2 or 3 years. Like you said, AI is there to assist if they use that,
Right.
but 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't be surprised to see any of those 8 packs in the game.
Right.
Yeah,
The thing is that I wouldn't be surprised. Now we have life and death. Okay, the
yeah,
next pack after that, what could that be? Right now, I
yeah,
gotta say, I have no idea. I really am not sure at all. But one
me
thing
either.
I am curious about is there is a major update happening in a couple of less than 2 weeks, I think. I think it's gonna
Uh-huh,
happen right on Tuesday before Halloween when the pack comes out, because they usually drop a
right,
major update in preparation for the pack with
right.
the bug fixes and whatnot. And they have been giving us these little bits with the updates recently, aside from the SDX drops.
Mhm,
A lot of people think because the last tarot card that was shown in the roadmap trailer
right.
was the world.
Mhm.
Could this possibly be a brand new blank world for us?
That would be interesting. That would be pretty cool.
And if it is, I'm hoping, praying that this is a beach town world, that
Oh,
this is
that
a
would be nice.
beautiful beach, beautiful weather all year round. Because I don't know, I don't know if this is by design or a mistake, but when you go to Ciudad and Morada,
Mhm.
sometimes it's cold
Yeah, I
and it's
think it's
freezing.
well, I was like at first I didn't know, but I felt like that was intentional. I know they kinda said, like what city did they say that was loosely based off
Mexico
of?
City. Mm-mm.
Huh,
Mexico
Mexico
City.
City, because, like, but I know the weather is always one way there, but I know if you get farther south, you definitely have, like,
Right.
cold and hot or a lot of, like that's Central America, but you get a little farther down, you definitely can have some places that are so large that you could be looking at a snow-capped mountain from the beach that's warm. So, I felt like it
Yes.
might be on purpose because a lot of places have that kind of diverse weather systems, depending on how big the place is, especially. So I feel like it could be on purpose, but like you said, it gets pretty cold there sometimes. So it would be nice if it was a beach because I really love like Sulani. I like how bright the world is
Yes.
when you get there. But if it was just like an empty world, Like right now, I do use Newcrest. I put a lot of stuff there, like event places to go for my Sims to have stuff to do.
That's
I
what I do.
tend to load them in Newcrest, and except my legacy save file, which has like houses and things to do, because I had one generation live there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's another empty world would be nice too. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do next, but I can say that I'll be excited to see what it is.
Me too. Or let's just go a step further and theorize possible. And I've seen this chatter on Twitter. I am not 100% behind it, but if they could do it, it would be amazing. Create a world.
Mhm. Oh, wow.
But then you're getting into an issue with that because create a world could present drain on system resources to run the game.
Yeah.
Because let's
That's
just say you create 100 worlds. Let's just throw
yeah.
a number out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is going to make your game lag. That's going to make your system lag in
Right.
general, and
Right.
you're going to need more resources to back that up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I don't
don't know if it's
know.
equipped. I don't think it is, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, but I don't think it's equipped to handle that. But
I don't either.
yeah,
You see what
any
happens when you put 99 rentals in an
and
apartment.
I see
Oh
what
God.
happens when I have like 15.
Yeah. I've got three. I have three in one rental right now. That's it, just three. And I get that lag. Wherever
Yeah.
that property owner is, it just stops. I'm like, I know she's around. When I see it, I'm like, yep, she's here
Yeah,
somewhere.
so a world, I don't know. Yeah,
No.
some things do have to be built. Like we talked about how it's hard to fix a game, but you can fix things. But there are some things that have to be built in the foundation that you
Yes.
can't go back and change without tearing the whole game down. Like which is essentially starting anew. So and I think, that's what everybody's talking like Project Renee. I'm like, we assumed a lot of us, but nobody ever said Project Renee was Sims 5.
No.
And I do it does make sense to fix 4 because and just from a graphic standpoint, I think like it looks top tier, especially if like now you switched some people are going back to DX9, but under DX11, like it looks amazing still. So
Does.
it would just have to be new gameplay features, which would be great, but I think it would be hard to make the game look better, but it certainly could be better.
I agree with you. I think that I don't think creative world is coming. I'm going to put that right out there. I don't
Yeah.
agree with it. There is a lot of chatter on Twitter that says otherwise. I don't agree with it. But I
Mhm.
do think we may be getting a blank world. That is a distinct possibility. And
Yeah,
hopefully a beach world. I would really like that with nice
it would be
weather.
amazing.
Please, Sims, that would be wonderful. Please make my dream come true.
Please make it
Um,
happen.
yes. Um, One thing I definitely want to say is I don't think it's going to happen ever at this point, but I'd love to see cars. I don't think cars will come this year or next year,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm okay with that. But you never know. You never know. It is a popular
yeah,
feature. They have delivered on most of the popular features that we've requested, aside
yeah,
from people who want the fairies occult.
yeah,
But yeah, having cars would be kind of awesome. I mean, I would love to see that.
yeah.
But
That would be nice.
do I think it'll happen this year? No. Do I think it'll happen
No.
next year? Probably not.
No, but it
But
could be done because it could be done like the old Sims where even if you just see them pull in the driveway, pull out, before we had the open
and
world,
Sims
yeah,
2.
you would see, the helicopter will land to come pick you up from work when you got
I
to the
love
top of
that.
the tree, but
I
you
love
wouldn't be able to drive around the whole town in them, but you most certainly could, get
right.
in the driveway out. But you know what? To be honest, I don't even rule that part out because even though we're in a closed world system, I don't think enough people recognize that on the horses and the bicycles, even in the closed world, you can ride really far. On the bikes, you almost ride too far on the bikes because I usually have to
Mhm.
stop my Sims from riding. But you can go
You
around, even
do.
though the world is closed, you can take really long rides. So if you can do that for a horse and a bike, I'm not saying it's the exact same mechanics, but some things would apply if it was a car, I think.
Yes, which leads to the second part of where I was leading up to is that I a lot of people think in the update we may also be getting a new lot type. What if cemeteries are being brought to base game? Sort
I
of
think
like
it would be.
I think so too. Because
Yeah.
one, it gives you a little taste of life and death.
Mm-hmm.
It gives people a most requested feature that they've wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So you give them a little taste, and at the same time, you know, this is something that people have requested. So you're answering the community's request for
Right.
this type of laptop.
100%.
I have a grave yard in my game. It looks terrible, but it's just littered with gravestones. But this also leads me to believe how big will the lot type be? I've heard chatter saying that's a possible 100 by 100 lot type.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's huge. But it
yeah,
would make sense. It would make sense for it to be that size though. So
yes.
I could see that. That's nice. That's double that lot on top of Mount Comarebi and that lot in Chestnut Ridge in the horse ranch pack. They got one big lot there. That's double that size.
The 64 by 64, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's yeah. 100 by 100, that would be crazy. But I do think you're right. Yeah, I think that having that as the lot type in the base game is a real possibility. One thing we know is with every pack, there are several, in my opinion, good features that come to the base game.
Yes,
So I don't see this as being any different. I think it'll be that. I'm not sure what else, but I think there will be two or three good big things that come to the base game. And I think some of those will be some build buy items too.
yes. And even
Yeah.
though I'm going to get yelled at for saying this right now, is I do think it is a good idea to keep the Sims 4 around for a longer time because I've heard them say in their investors meeting
Yeah.
that there are millions of players worldwide, millions of players who are not online, who do not involve themselves in Twitter or YouTube or whatever. They may watch us,
Yeah.
but they're quiet, they're silent, they're just playing the game. They're not active in the community.
100%.
And
I agree.
those people are the hardcore. Those people are more hardcore than us. They
Yeah.
they are fully invested. They will buy everything, anything, and future
Mhm.
when it comes to The Sims.
And they know because they have the actual data to back it. But I believe without even seeing the data because um I think, there's a lot of positive things out there, but I do think in general, I think if you look at pretty much any topic, any segment, it doesn't have to be a game or The Sims, if somebody feels in a negative manner about it, the negative tends to ring louder than the positive. It doesn't mean they're the majority at all.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, and like you said, everybody doesn't participate. I'll speak for me. I did not have a social media account on anything ever before I started this channel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, other than like I had a YouTube account under a
Right.
different username to watch YouTube videos because I have a Gmail account, right?
Me too. Yeah.
But I've to this day I've never been on Facebook. I've never been on Snapchat. I started an Instagram after I started this channel, and I did TikTok for a little while with this channel. But if it were not for this channel, I would not be on social media. But I've been playing since 2001. but I've
Yes.
never been. And I was gonna be, I never got out of packs, but I was always gonna play. I was gonna get some packs that I like, and I was always gonna play. So that segment is out there. I've been that segment until I decided to be on YouTube.
Yes. Exactly. You were one of that group, and now you are a YouTuber with a great
Yeah.
channel.
Oh,
You
thank you.
that just crossed over 600 subscribers. Woohoo! Way to go.
Oh,
That's
thank
amazing.
you. I'm
That is
happy too.
amazing.
I'm so happy. But I agree with you about the Sims 4. So if you're gonna get beat up, we'll get beat up together. I like that it's staying around. And this is the thing, Jen. I don't think they're not working on the Sims 5 or whatever that's gonna be.
Right.
I believe they are working on it, but
Yeah.
you just talked about the timeline for developing. I'm not going to tell you about a project that I might do in 7 years. I'm not going to give you updates on it yet. Some people do, and it creates like maybe an unnecessarily tense environment over time. That's like you have let's play series. If you know you're gonna do a series in about a year and a half, you're not gonna put out a trailer for it today. You're
No.
gonna wait.
No.
You're gonna wait. You gotta build suspense. And in this case, this is your area, marketing. You have to build marketing
Mhm.
at the right time. If you do it too early, you lose people. They'll be
Yep.
excited at first, but you lose them eventually. And if you do it too late, you might miss people. So
Yes.
I think they're working on Sims 5, but I think it's okay to still be working on Sims 4. I don't mind playing it. I told you before, when Sims 4 came out, I think we were 3 years in before I started playing Sims 4. I was still on 3.
That's true.
Yeah.
And but the difference with Sims 4 is that you had Sims 2 up until 2000 and no, Sims 2 was 2004 to 2009.
Yeah.
And then you had Sims 4 from 2000, I want to say 2010, no, 2014 to
2014. Yeah.
2014 to now. Okay, so Sims 3 went 2009, 2014. So you're talking, you know, good number of years there. But
Yeah.
Sims 4 is the first pack that's been around for 10
For this
years
long.
of those iterations and has is continuing to be around. And
Mm-hmm.
because they know that the game is going to be around, you know that there are plans in the works for more content. But what type of content? How much more can they deliver in the Sims? Like, if I have to think about a Sims pack, an ultimate Sims pack that would be totally unique from something I've ever seen before,
Uh-huh.
Sims in space. Actually going to space, working in space,
That would be cool right there. That would be so cool.
you know, traveling to 6M maybe from which we can already do with the scientist career and rocket,
Yeah.
the astronaut, but go a bit further with another pack, giving them that ability to do that. And cross gameplay with the science career and the astronaut
Mm,
career.
that would be nice.
Yeah. I that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, but in Sims 3, we did see a lot of unique packs come out that we hadn't seen, like Into the Future, for one. Generations, one of the most successful packs they ever had, was the
Yeah.
first
Love
time,
generations.
yeah, that they had the incorporation of all the different nuances of how the life stages would affect each other
Yeah.
as time go on. So you had the anniversary at the bachelorette parties. You had
Mm-hmm.
the kids with the little costume chest. And I love that pack. That was absolutely my favorite pack out of all of them.
Yep.
Second to
Yep.
late. And now we
Yep.
have four, but they've pretty much been carbon copies. So most people have felt like, well, I bought all these packs originally. And now I'm
Right.
just, you know, somewhat upgraded of what I had in the past. But
Yeah.
now life and death, totally unique and different. And a really good step on their part to go in this direction because they've never done this before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something people are going to be talking about for months, even I think a year after this comes out.
Yeah,
And this is
this is a
definitely going
big
to,
one.
yeah, this is definitely going to hold us over until first quarter next year.
Right. And even, Jen, when you were talking about the cars, one of the packs they talked about in the survey was dedicated to elders, and it was basically having like a van life or like a
Yeah,
RV, but they really called it a van, I think.
yeah,
But it reminded you of something like a RV because it was talking about traveling around the world and trading goods and trading services, things like that, specifically
yeah.
targeting like elder Sims. So yeah, you make a lot of good points.
Thank
It
you.
will be about where they can go and how far they can take it. And I believe like ideas can be infinite, but what will be practical for actual development in the game. So that's why I do believe they're working on Sims 5 or whatever it will be called. I don't believe that's Project Renee. And
Right.
they said that and they never said it was. But do I think that there'll be somebody that likes to play whatever Project Renee is? Absolutely. But are there people that still want to play Sims 4? Yes. Are there people who are ready to move on to the next one? Yes, and when the next one comes out, I'll be excited too whenever that happens, but I will probably still be playing both for a few years until the Sims 5 is developed fully, you know,
Yes.
I will still be
Yes.
on 4 and 5. So, you're right, it's just the Sims team knows their audience, but I do think they are listening to the people who are vocalizing a little louder as well when it's constructive. So I think they're on their way to a good balance.
I think so too. And I'm excited for the future of The Sims. I think that there's a lot of good things down the pipe coming, and I can't wait to see what they have to offer.
Same.
So, as we get ready to wrap this up, in closing, what are your final thoughts about life and death?
My final thoughts are I think Life and Death is gonna be a game changer. You've got new aspirations, new traits, new careers. You've got rebirth, a new grief system. You've got a bucket list. I can't ask for anything else in one expansion pack.
I agree with you. Perfect way to end it. I think that this is definitely a game changer. Possible grand slam from The Sims. We're going to wait and see on October 31st when Life and Death is released. KT, wonderful as always hanging out with you today. I had a great time. This was so much fun. I can't wait till we do this again.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And if you want to leave us off with your famous tagline, feel free.
I sure will. So, thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, remember, keep simming, be happy, and always have a blessed day. Bye bye.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.